Da-da-da! What's my good cheer? Welcome everybody. Let's let YouTube have a few minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I think I am ready to go a little bit deeper into the inside now because I have been so on this editing program, right? Make your head spin. It's been day number 5. I put a lot of energy, a lot of time into figuring this out. And even though I'm no closer in this moment to resolving the issue, I've eliminated so much, right? I've eliminated so much that it makes it possible for me to actually do a little bit of reflection, a little bit of reverse engineering of the possibilities of what it could be. But I need a break from this, right? In this process of learning, right? And I'm not technically, or let me get my feet up here. I am not technically inclined. Uh, maybe a little bit more than more people my age. So I'll give myself credit for that. But at the same time, right, this stuff is truly, truly frustrating. And yet I see 5-year-olds spinning around with their phones and their laptops, right? And they're just so smart. They're just growing up and being born that way, right? So it makes me wonder if the lessons we learned in our generations become the solutions for the next generation, right? I did speak of this before about, being the first to make that movement, and in our experiences and in those lessons that we receive in our lifetimes, that we find solutions, right? And some of us find great solutions, right? When it comes to innovation, because that's where the future lies. That's the movement forward, isn't it? And I'm looking at the people that are running in the same categories as me, and it's so amazing that everybody is so sure, right? They're so sure of themselves, right? And I wish I had that confidence myself. There are aspects of this that I think that I would excel compared to some others. But then I look at some of that content and I'm going, oh my goodness, like, I'm getting a lesson right now. He's sorting me right out. And then just to be able to get a different perspective because, you know, being highly sensitive and being empathic, we got that way. And for the most part, it is in those projections, it is in the swallowing, the accepting, right, of those ideas and situations and lessons that other people give to us. I am very grateful that at 62 years old in a couple of weeks, that I get the opportunity to make some more decisions for myself, some movement for myself, to resonate with ideas and thoughts myself, to actually strive towards things, right? Where most people my age are starting to wind down, I'm only picking up speed. You would never know it though from that program I've been working on the past few days. Extremely frustrating, extremely just right? But at the same time, I have to remember it is a learning process and I fail consistently. And in that failure, you find a little bit of movement. Maybe in not what you want to move in, right? But you do find the movement. Man, I didn't reboot my computer once. but I rebooted my computer twice in the past 24 hours, right? And didn't do any damage at all. And in fact, the second time I downloaded, I took note of a few things that I could have changed and I could have taken note of the first time I downloaded it. And I did it much better the second time, right? Still didn't accomplish what I needed to do. But, if the program should interrupt down the road when I really do need to have that time, right? That I really do need to pick up that speed. That I do need to shoot a video up immediately because nobody even knows that I'm alive because I've been missing for so long. No worries, you guys. I'm going to use a different program. I'm just going to splice a couple of clips together. See if I can make a little video that way. Maybe it will be encouraging for me, right? That I can be proud of myself because for in the moment, I put 5 days into this. And like I said, I'm no closer into resolving the problem, right? Even though I have ideas, but I had ideas the last time I booted the computer, and the computer before that, I had all kinds of ideas. And not only that, I was running that computer, not for one video, but I did two really long videos on that program, right? There's no reason that it shouldn't work, right? It is the crosshairs of the permissions. I do realize that, and maybe I'll give it a little bit of more time tonight. But sometimes as we learn, and we don't just learn from videos, we don't learn from books, we don't just learn in school, but we learn in our everyday experiences and in those everyday frustrations. Still haven't got my computer up and running yet properly. Right, but I didn't destroy it because here I am on that laptop. But yeah, I just have not figured out how to get that laptop to accept my editing program. I've tried everything in order to get those permissions, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But maybe, like I said, I'll give it some more time. It is a learning process, but as we learn, right? So when I have these conversations, quite often I'll talk about filling up our cup and giving out what's overflowing, right? But as we do projects and as we put our hard work into things, when we have to step forward because some obstacles, some catastrophe, some heartbreak or grief came into our lives, and that energy has got to go to that. Being able to quickly get back on my feet, right? It is important, right? It is possibly even a prerequisite for me to learn how to edit videos. But at the same time, I was already editing videos and I could have done both things at the same time if I had been given a different way to receive the lesson, right? The lessons come to us however they come to us. they truly they truly do. And this was an unexpected disappointment because you're right, you guys heard me. I made promises about getting the videos up. I talked about being in a kamikaze fighter going down. Right? I talk about never giving up, right? In finding a way. Those are all lessons, and those are how much time do you give to a problem? How much space can you hold in a relationship, right? Sometimes it's really, really difficulty, right? It is very difficult, especially in those relationships because, right, we pick up the lessons. And if other people aren't picking up lessons at the same time or close to it, we risk that opportunity to move together, right? Because it always means one person's going to move forward before the next one does, because, right, one person's taking lessons, the other one isn't. And like I said, those lessons just aren't in books and YouTube videos and classrooms, right? They're in our everyday, day to day frustrations. They truly are. I got lots of lessons in the past 5 days. But also, I have to take note that one of those lessons was the frustration, right? To be able to allow myself not to be angry at myself and not to be angry at the programs. The programs are just trying to protect me just as much as I'm trying to protect me, right? But at the circumstances, right? At the circumstances. And then when we don't have any playroom in those circumstances, we have to understand that sometimes we have to ride the waves. Sometimes we have to accept things for what they are, right? Sometimes you just got to say, screw that. I'm going down like a kamikaze, right? This thing does not got me, right? Right? I'll get this figured out. But hello, Melvin. It's nice to have you. Nice to have you here today. I never I never even got dressed or anything for 2 days. I just stayed in my house clothes for 2 days. Didn't even shower. And then I said, Cindy, you need to feel like a human being, right? And I was trying to do nice things for myself, to make sure that I was comfortable, or if I had a nice meal, right? A nice cup of coffee, taking care of those responsibilities, like being accountable and saying, okay, Cindy, get off of that computer, get off of that program, right? And you're coming in and you're going to do your live, and right. And how surprising that we got that word lesson this week. We're on this topic of lesson all week. And yet I'm getting some huge lessons. And I'm not just getting one lesson, I'm just getting one lesson after another lesson and after another lesson. And at the same time, that level of frustration is sitting on top of that entire lesson. And at the same time, what also is sitting on top are the lessons. This is where it comes from. That idea that I got to understand that everything is going to be okay. It's a simple solution. And it's just going to come to me, and I'm just going to go bang, 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 bang. And even though I've rebooted my computer, I've deleted files, right? I've learned to bring the computer back to life, right? I've learned how to adapt and conquer and get around some of those missing files and pick them up in the cloud. Oh, yay. But then again, those cloud permissions are a pain in the butt too, because I have other programs that are running that just won't run with anything with Windows, right? And I haven't figured that out. There must be a way. But if I give away any more permissions, I tell you, anybody will be able to come onto my computer. Seriously, it'll be like remote with everybody in the city, because I've lifted every single permission, and I'm going to go back in after my live and try and clean up my mess a little bit, right? Not going to reboot my computer, because I understand it's not my program. It's not the setup of the computer, but it's in the permissions, and I knew that right in the very beginning. But how to give myself those permissions, that's what I haven't figured out yet. I had those permissions because I've done videos. I've done a couple of videos, but it is in the learning, you guys. It is in the learning, and it is in the acceptance that there's going to be some frustration. There's going to be some hairy scary. It was hairy scary crashing my computer. I paid a lot of money. That was a huge investment, my laptop this year, right? Huge investment. Very. That would have hurt if I had crashed it. But my brand is everything, and because of the lessons that I've taken in, I come to realize everything's gonna be okay, right? There's nothing, and this is Marie Folio. She says nothing's unsolvable, right? Everything is solvable. Sometimes it just needs time. Sometimes I just need to right? Sometimes I need to go for a walk. Sometimes I need more lessons. I need those prerequisites, right? Because I've hit a ceiling now, right? So I have to go beyond that. How do we get past that? I don't know, but let's do some Googling. Let's do some exploring, right? Let's have some conversations. Let's get some help, right? Let's get some help. These are all recent lessons to me, right? I am a stubborn bird. Truly, I am a stubborn bird, but I'm not going to apologize for that because this stubborn bird got me here, right? This stubborn bird is making that choice to make some movement, to take some lessons, even as a baby boomer. And how many baby boomers would do that, right? And the only reason I'm doing it is because my life accommodates it, right? Like I said yesterday, I got no screaming kids, right? No screaming grandkids. I'm old enough to have grandkids, right? No screaming kids, no screaming grandkids, no needy husband, right? No work phoning me every 5 minutes to deal with this problem or this problem, right? That this time is for me and I get to choose how I'm going to utilize it. And I can choose to take in some lessons, and that's okay because I've been missing lots of lessons. But most of the lessons I think are well, they're floating around. They're floating around out there, and it's not like we ever stop taking in the lessons. But I think there comes a point in that self parenting that we get to realize that lessons come in all forms, right? That if I should make that decision, right, to give up on that editor, maybe I'll find another editing program. Maybe I'll invest a little bit of money, go back to my Premiere Pro, right? Maybe I'll figure out my settings. Maybe I'll figure out my permissions, but maybe not. And I have to understand that everything will be okay if I don't. I go live. I don't edit my lives. I come in and I spew, right? I try to stay genuine and I come back into my lives to take those lessons for myself because no doubt I need those lessons just as much as anybody else, right? 12-year-old could probably figure out what I'm trying to figure out right now. But I'm not comparing myself to that 12-year-old, right? Because I am my own person and I have different lessons than that 12-year-old. I have lessons that 12-year-old would just move forward so right with my lessons. But that one lesson he's got, right? Being the expert on computers or editing, right? That's what I don't have. And that necessarily is not a prerequisite for me to be a YouTuber. It certainly is. And as you can see, I'm here right now. We're doing a live right now. I won't be editing it right now, but the idea is to be able to do that and not make mistakes and not lead people astray and not to disrespect or miss out on a lesson or a conversation that it was meant to happen in here, right? Because I was so focused on the importance of something that might not have been so important after all. I'll get a video knocked out of the ballpark somehow. I don't know. Maybe I need to commit and promise to do that, because in the lessons, I understand that I have to hold myself accountable, right? This is my brand, my my people. They're waiting for those adventure videos for my trip, and I've got to do my very best to figure out how to get it done, right? Without, well, it doesn't matter. If I crash the computer, well, you know what? I'm going to pop up just like a jack in the box, because I've got that lesson already. It'll take me half an hour and I'll be back up running with a brand new, fresh Windows to play around with and to delete files and move files and frustrating, frustrating. But that is the process. When we're learning, it is frustrating, right? We're not going for a C minus or a C plus. We're going for the A plus, and we might not ever reach the A plus, right? But it's in our efforts. And this was one of my very first lessons. And it's probably, I named my computer when I up rebooted it the last time. So this is a good lesson. When I rebooted my computer today and gave myself a fresh Windows, right? I renamed my computer, and I renamed it Cindy Jean Tries because I try and I try and I try, right? And yes, I haven't seen the positive result of my editor coming back, but I have seen positive results in the lessons in me trying to figure out what I did wrong and how to get it sorted out. And I will get it sorted out. I know I will, right? But that's in my lessons, that I have to trust that everything is going to be okay, right? It's not my passion. Editing is not my passion. I do not want to be magnificent in the editing. I want to be magnificent in the creation, right? And maybe in my imagination, splice up the video and put it together. But I would certainly like somebody else to do that technical part of it. But in the moment, I don't have those people, right? I don't have those resources. So I have to manage the best that I can. And the only way that I can get through it is to be proud of my effort. But in saying that, I have to say how much effort, as much as it takes, is there a ceiling to that I have to punch through, right? Or is there a ceiling to that that's just going to stop me in my tracks? I don't know. I'm going to ride those waves. And when I hit those ceilings, I hit those roadblocks, I hit that moment when I'm asking myself those questions, I will do my very best. I will ride the waves. I will become a master Googler, right? I will ask my friends. I have a nephew who's really good on the computer. He's very hard to get a hold of, but he's very good on the computer. And I know he'll be happy to help me, right? If he can. But in learning, and we talked about this before, understanding that it is in our failures that we gain the experience, that we gain the confidence. We lessen the frustration. We lessen the hairy scary. I'm not afraid of rebooting my computer again. I know I'll do a good job bringing it back, right? Um, but at the same time, right, those really weren't the lessons that I would have preferred to be working on. I would have preferred to have been working on a video. And I have to um, look look at that, right? What's the reason in that? And I understand, right, that I show up fresh like a loaf of bread every day. But my idea is, we just don't do mindset, right? We just don't take care of those parts of ourselves and then use these parts as utilitarian and right, get this done and mush and hold yourself accountable and sit there and suffer and oh my goodness, you wasted 5 days. Last 2 days, your days off, you got nothing done, right? That's in my choices to say, okay, it needs to stop. In my lessons, right? This needs to stop because I need to ground in getting my laundry done, getting ready for my new work week, right? I need to ground in possibly finding another program that I might be able to put up a little video, right? Without it being too frustrating. Understanding that in a couple of days, maybe, or in a day when I'm feeling better, maybe even tonight I'll be feeling better about this. I've had my rest, I've gotten it off my chest, right? I might have worked it through, or I've thought because it's those breadcrumbs, right? It's those breadcrumbs and those serendipities and those little ideas that come across our paths that lead us to solutions, right? And because I'm holding too tight to this problem, and because I'm too stuck in that frustration that's riding on the back of that problem, those other parts of me are not going to come to the surface, right? Right? They don't work well with frustration. They don't work well. Well, they do work well only because it's that adapt and conquer. Okay, Nancy, I see you. You always get my attention that way. Let's take a look here. Oh, oh, but it's not a very good editor unless you put money into it, Nancy. Yeah, so what I'll do here is because Microsoft gave me that app. They gave me that app. I saw they were taking away, they took away my programs, and so I gave it the permissions. Thank you for letting me know that. Yes, ClipChamp. Yeah, well, it's kind of it's the basic ones, right? But that's good. That's thank you for letting me know. But yeah, it's downloaded already onto my computer. I knew I could get my video up and running through Clipchamp, but I didn't want to because it was a Microsoft app, and I didn't want to use a Microsoft app. But yeah, now that you say that, I could also download it from my Google apps, my Play Store. That's what I'll do today. And then I'm just gonna sign out of my Microsoft and I'm gonna sign off of my cloud for sure. I'm done with it. Right? And so you think possibly, Nancy, that's why my accounts are not accepting the editing that I downloaded. I bought this program. I spent good money on it, and I didn't get to use it for very long. But it won't let me open it. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Nancy, so much. You're a sweetheart for giving me that answer. That's what I'll do. Well, I guess I'm gonna be at it a little bit more learning tonight, right? Just like I learned something new right here. And like I said, this was the best piece of information that I've gotten in the past few days because I saw that app. I played with it a little bit in the past couple of days, right? I thought it was a pretty good app, but I didn't like that a lot of the features you had to have, the good features you had to pay for, right? I know, but they're not the same. They got watermarks and they got time limits, and I don't want to do clips. I want to do some of my videos. I think the next video that I'm editing has about 40 minutes of content on it after I've clipped it all, right? No, Nancy, you don't have to say sorry at all. Thank you so much. So grateful that you're one of mine, Nancy, that you gave me that little piece of information, right? And if that's the case, I download that from my Play Store. If I like the app, then maybe I'll invest in it, right? Maybe I will invest in it. I do have to invest in myself, right? I do have to invest in myself. Not every lesson is free. Not every lesson. Some of my biggest lessons have come in those one-on-one conversations or one-on-one interactions, right? Sometimes it's just like what Nancy did for me to give me that information, to bring me back to the main trunk, right? So I don't have to be frustrated. And I won't only be proud of myself if I get that figured out, Nancy, but I will be very proud to have called you friend, which I'm very proud to call you friend anyway. But that's what friends do for each other, and I really appreciate that you gave me that little bit of information, and I'll give it a shot. I'm gonna put a video together. I'll make it a really simple video tonight, but I'll try and get a video up tonight. Um, no, thank you. Thank you, Nancy. That was very, very sweet of you. And it's funny because, like I said, I played with that app a couple of times in the past few days. It's downloaded, but through my Microsoft account. Microsoft, so sneaky. Keep trying to control my laptop to have all the permissions on themselves to make sure that they're the default, and I have to be right a little bit quicker than them because I am such a Google girl. I really am. I just hope that as I move forward and beyond, right, and beyond, when I'm gone, but maybe those other parts of me come back, that maybe YouTube will pick up right where I left off in the end because they recognized it, where I left off in the lessons. No, Google isn't gonna go anywhere, Nancy. No, no. Where did you hear something like that? No, Google won't go anywheres, right? I'll do well, it's not the lesson for this week. And, um, I'll wait for that information to come across my path. Maybe it just did with you saying something to me, but I trust Google. I believe that Google is a great asset to this world. That this Google has amazing teacher, has volumes of mentorship, has volumes of influence, has volumes of history, and volumes of insight from so many smart people who are the experts in their fields. And this would be, I think, a sad world if we didn't have access to that information. And yes, right, we've got access right now, and not all of us are putting it to good use, but that is only in our choices, right? I could choose to take Nancy's one lesson and give it one more shot before I go on to let the world influence me a little bit or update me a little bit. And I gotta get this laundry done. 5 days, giving my so many hours all day long. But thank you so much. Ah, well, it is all in that entrepreneurship, and I would have to say, that we're not going to allow ourselves to lose these resource sources of insight, right? Up until, the I would have to say when mankind started to write, there really wasn't any way to document evolution, to document the process and the lessons that the human race were taking in, right? But in this digital age, we have this opportunity to never lose sight of it again, to always be able to, in our choices, take the lessons in that suit us, that we resonate with, that will serve us and serve others in the end, right? But yeah, I'm very curious. You got me curious now, Nancy. And curiosity gets me every time. Okay, you guys, that's my conversation today on the topic of lessons because it has been a week of lessons. I am shutting down the heaviness of the lessons today, right? Understanding that I need to ground in the joy of being human, I think now, right? That's what I need to do. Thank you so much, Nancy, for that wonderful bit of information there. I'm going to go look into it right now. I'll have a couple of sips of my coffee and then I'm going to get right back into it. I'll just give my whole day off. One more day off, right? And I can get the few chores that I need to get done for my work week. I can get them done at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go see if I can get a washer before somebody takes it before me. Everybody, have a great day and we'll see each other tomorrow. Bye bye.